Every journey towards self-mastery and transformation begins with awareness. The first step in facing your inner demons is to recognize that they exist. Inner demons are not literal creatures, but they represent the fears, doubts, limiting beliefs, insecurities, suppressed emotions, and unresolved experiences that live within each of us. They quietly influence our thoughts, decisions, and behaviors, often without our conscious awareness. Many people go through life unaware of the subtle ways these inner forces shape their reality, believing that their fears, anxieties, or patterns of avoidance are simply who they are. Recognition is the first step toward freedom, because you cannot change what you do not see. Awareness is the light that begins to illuminate the shadowy corners of your mind and heart, allowing you to confront what has long controlled your life from the unseen. Recognizing your inner demons requires courage because it means turning your attention inward and confronting truths you may have long avoided. It involves observing your emotions, thoughts, and behaviors honestly and without judgment. Often, people react defensively when difficult emotions arise, labeling them as bad, unwanted, or shameful. This resistance only gives the inner demons more power. By noticing them with openness and curiosity, you begin to dissolve their hold over you. Recognition is not about blaming yourself for having these fears or flaws. It is about seeing them clearly for what they are and understanding that they are signals pointing to areas of growth, healing, and transformation. The process of recognizing inner demons often begins with observing patterns in your life. You might notice recurring fears, negative self-talk, or behaviors that hold you back from reaching your potential. Perhaps you procrastinate in areas that matter most because of fear of failure. Maybe you struggle to form deep connections because of old wounds that make vulnerability feel dangerous. Perhaps you feel anger or resentment that seems disproportionate to present circumstances, revealing unresolved pain from the past. These patterns are not random, they're the expressions of your inner demons trying to communicate their presence. Recognition is about identifying these patterns and understanding that they are not defining you. They are merely part of the human experience that requires attention. Emotions play a central role in recognizing your inner demons. Fear, anxiety, guilt, shame, sadness, and anger are all messages from your inner world. They signal where your needs have been unmet, where boundaries have been crossed, or where past trauma still influences your present. Many people try to avoid these emotions, pushing them down or distracting themselves to escape discomfort. But avoidance only strengthens the grip of the inner demons because suppressed energy continues to manifest in indirect ways through stress, conflict, self-sabotage, or illness. Recognizing your emotions is the first step in reclaiming control. By feeling them fully and observing them without resistance, you begin to transform their energy into understanding and empowerment. Recognizing your inner demons also involves self-reflection. This means asking yourself honest questions. What am I afraid of? Why do I react the way I do in certain situations? What triggers my anger, sadness, or anxiety? When did these patterns first emerge in my life? Reflection allows you to connect present experiences with past influences, revealing the origins of your inner demons. Often, these origins are tied to early life experiences, societal conditioning, or internalized messages from people whose opinions you valued. By tracing these roots, you gain clarity and begin to separate who you truly are from the fears and beliefs that have been imposed upon you. A key part of recognition is observing without judgment. Too often, people label themselves negatively for having certain thoughts or feelings, saying things like, "I shouldn't feel this way," or "there's something wrong with me." Judgment creates resistance, shame, and further separation from your true self. Recognition, in contrast, is neutral. It is about seeing what is, not what should be. When you observe your inner demons with curiosity rather than fear or shame, you begin to create a safe inner space where understanding and transformation can occur. This practice of non-judgmental awareness strengthens your capacity to face challenges without being overwhelmed by them. Another dimension of recognition is understanding the difference between your true self and the patterns created by your inner demons. The self is your authentic essence, the part of you that is curious, creative, loving, and resilient. Inner demons are learned patterns, conditioned responses, and unprocessed emotions that obscure your authentic self. Recognition is about noticing these layers and distinguishing between them. When you see that fear, doubt, or negative self-talk is not your identity but a shadow that can be worked with, you begin to reclaim your sense of agency and power. This separation allows you to engage with your inner world consciously, rather than being unconsciously driven by hidden forces. Recognizing your inner demons is also the first step toward reclaiming energy and potential that has been trapped by avoidance and resistance. Every moment spent suppressing fear, anger, or shame consumes energy that could otherwise be directed toward growth, creativity, and meaningful action. Awareness allows you to stop running from yourself and start channeling this energy toward positive transformation. Recognition does not instantly eliminate fear or doubt, but it diminishes their unconscious control, giving you the space to act from conscious choice rather than reactive habit. This stage of recognition is the foundation for all subsequent steps in the journey of self-mastery. Awareness prepares you for understanding the roots of your inner demons, for embracing and integrating them, and for transforming their energy into insight and action. Without recognition, the journey cannot begin because you would remain in a state of unconscious reaction, shaped by fears and patterns you do not fully see. Recognition is the spark that lights the path, allowing you to step into courage and face your inner world with honesty and clarity. Finally, recognizing your inner demons is an act of courage in itself. It requires honesty, presence, and willingness to confront discomfort. It is the acknowledgement that growth requires facing what you have long avoided, and that true freedom comes not from eliminating fear, but from engaging with it consciously. Recognition marks the beginning of a transformative journey. A journey where fear becomes a teacher, darkness becomes a guide, and inner demons become allies in the pursuit of wholeness. It is the first step in moving from limitation to liberation, from avoidance to empowerment, and from fear to courage. By recognizing your inner demons, you begin the process of reclaiming your life from unconscious patterns, opening the door to understanding, acceptance, insight, and transformative action. Recognition is the point where fear begins to lose its power and where the path toward courage, freedom, and authentic self-expression truly begins. It is the moment when you stop hiding from yourself and start facing the very parts of you that have been waiting to be seen, honored, and transformed. After recognizing your inner demons, the next step is understanding their roots. Recognition brings awareness, but understanding brings clarity. Inner demons, those fears, doubts, limiting beliefs, and suppressed emotions, do not appear randomly. They have origins often rooted in past experiences, childhood conditioning, societal messages, or unresolved trauma. By exploring these origins, you begin to see that your inner demons are not enemies, but reflections of experiences and beliefs that shaped your psyche. Understanding their roots allows you to take control instead of being unconsciously driven by them. Many of our fears and limiting beliefs arise from early life experiences. As children, we absorb messages from parents, teachers, peers, and society about what is acceptable, safe, or valuable. Some messages encourage growth and resilience, but others instill fear, self-doubt, or shame. For example, repeated criticism can lead to fear of failure. Emotional neglect can create feelings of unworthiness. Societal pressures can generate anxiety about acceptance or success. Early experiences leave imprints on the mind and heart, forming patterns that influence adult behavior. By tracing your inner demons to their source, you uncover the story behind your fears, giving them context and meaning. Understanding the roots of your inner demons also involves identifying recurring patterns in your life. You may notice that certain situations consistently trigger fear, anger, or anxiety. Perhaps you avoid opportunities for growth because you anticipate failure. Maybe relationships are challenging because past hurts make vulnerability feel dangerous. These patterns are not random. They are the echoes of unresolved experiences and unprocessed emotions. Recognizing the link between your current responses and their origins allows you to address the root cause rather than merely treating the symptoms. Exploring these roots requires introspection and honesty. Ask yourself questions such as, what experiences in my past shaped my fears? When did I first feel unworthy or incapable? What beliefs have I internalized that no longer serve me? Reflection allows you to connect present emotions and behaviors to their origins, revealing how your inner demons were formed. This insight is powerful because it shifts your perspective from blame or shame to understanding. You see that your fears are learned responses, not intrinsic flaws, and that they can be addressed, transformed, and integrated into your conscious life. Understanding your inner demons also means recognizing the protective function they once served. Fear, doubt, and self-criticism often develop as survival mechanisms. In childhood or past difficult situations, these responses helped you avoid harm, cope with uncertainty, or navigate challenges. While they may no longer serve the same protective purpose, understanding their origin allows you to honor their past role and release their unnecessary grip on your present life. Instead of judging these inner forces as weaknesses, you can appreciate them as former allies, whose energy can now be redirected toward growth and empowerment. This stage of understanding naturally flows from recognition. Recognition made you aware of your inner demons, highlighting their presence and influence. Understanding takes this awareness deeper, exploring why these fears and patterns exist and how they have shaped your life. Where recognition illuminates the shadows, understanding explains their structure, purpose, and history. This step bridges the gap between seeing the problem and being able to transform it, preparing you for the next stage of embracing and integrating these aspects of yourself. Through understanding, you also gain clarity about which beliefs and patterns no longer serve you. Many of our fears and limiting thoughts persist because they were never questioned. They were accepted as reality. By tracing their origins and understanding their purpose, you can start to challenge and reframe them. You see that the fear of failure is not a prophecy of incapacity, but a learned response from past experiences. You realize that self-doubt is not an accurate measure of worth, but a reflection of conditioned beliefs. This clarity allows you to reclaim your power and begin consciously shaping your life. Understanding the roots of your inner demons is also a step towards self-compassion. When you see that your fears and limitation are tied to past experiences and learned patterns, you are less likely to blame or criticize yourself. Instead, you cultivate empathy and patience for your own journey. This compassion creates a safe internal environment where transformation can occur. You recognize that being human means carrying fears and insecurities, and that growth comes from engaging with them, rather than denying or suppressing them. Ultimately, understanding your inner demons is about reclaiming your agency. You move from being unconsciously influenced by fears and limiting beliefs to consciously choosing how to respond. Insight allows you to act with awareness, make empowered decisions, and transform energy that was once trapped in avoidance or resistance into constructive action. Understanding turns recognition into clarity, fear into insight, and shadow into guidance. This stage naturally leads to embracing the demons. Once you understand their origin and purpose, you can stop resisting and start accepting them as part of your wholeness. Understanding prepares you for this courageous step, giving you the clarity and confidence to engage with the inner forces that were once intimidating. By tracing your inner demons to their roots, you reclaim your story, reclaim your power, and prepare to transform fear into courage, limitation into strength, and darkness into light. Through understanding, you see that your inner demons are not permanent obstacles but guides pointing toward growth. They reveal what has been ignored, unprocessed, or suppressed, and by exploring their roots, you equip yourself to embrace, integrate, and ultimately transcend them. This insight forms the foundation for the journey ahead, turning awareness into empowerment and preparing you for the transformative stages of embracing, learning, acting, and finally living liberated from the fear that once controlled you. After recognizing your inner demons and understanding their roots, the next step is embracing them. Embracing your inner demons is about acceptance, courage, and transforming fear into strength. Many people spend their lives resisting, suppressing, or denying the aspects of themselves they consider dark, unwanted, or shameful. These are often the fears, insecurities, doubts, and suppressed emotions that have been buried deep within the subconscious. Resisting these parts of yourself only strengthens the ear hold, keeping you stuck in patterns of avoidance and self-criticism. Embracing them, on the other hand, allows you to reclaim the energy trapped in denial and to approach your inner world with honesty, compassion, and courage. Embracing your inner demons does not mean giving in to harmful behaviors or abandoning personal responsibility. It means acknowledging that every part of yourself, even the parts you fear or dislike, exists for a reason and carries important messages about your needs, boundaries, and potential. Fear, for example, often signals that something in your life requires attention or courage. Anger may reveal where a boundary has been crossed or injustice has occurred. Sadness may point to unmet needs or unresolved loss. When you embrace these emotions rather than pushing them away, you allow yourself to understand their purpose and to use their energy constructively. This stage requires courage because it involves facing what you have long avoided. You may encounter feelings of shame, guilt, or inadequacy that have been hidden for years. You may notice patterns of thought and behavior that you find uncomfortable or alarming. Embracing these parts of yourself requires letting go of judgment and cultivating curiosity. Instead of asking, "Why do I feel this way?" in a critical or blaming tone, you ask with compassion, "What is this feeling trying to tell me?" This shift in perspective transforms fear into insight and resistance into acceptance. Embracing your inner demons also strengthens self-awareness. As you acknowledge and accept these hidden aspects, you begin to understand how they influence your decisions, relationships, and actions. You notice triggers that provoke anxiety or anger, and you recognize the habitual patterns that have limited your growth. By facing them consciously, you gain the ability to choose how to respond rather than react automatically. This awareness is empowering because it allows you to redirect energy that was once consumed by avoidance or suppression toward growth, creativity, and meaningful action. Acceptance also opens the door to integration. Inner demons are not enemies to be eliminated. They are parts of yourself that, when understood and embraced, contribute to your wholeness. Each fear, insecurity, or suppressed desire contains potential energy that can be transformed into strength, insight, and resilience. Anger, for example, can become assertiveness and courage. Anxiety can become heightened awareness and careful decision-making. Vulnerability can lead to deeper connection and empathy. By embracing these aspects, you reclaim the power that was lost to denial and suppression, turning darkness into a source of guidance and empowerment. This stage is deeply connected to the previous steps. Recognition brought awareness of the inner demons, and understanding revealed their origins and purpose. Embracing builds on these foundations by transforming knowledge and awareness into acceptance and conscious engagement. Without embracing, recognition and understanding remain theoretical or observational. Acceptance makes the inner work active, creating a space where transformation can occur. It is the bridge between insight and illumination, allowing the hidden parts of yourself to be consciously integrated rather than feared or ignored. Embracing your inner demons also nurtures self-compassion. When you stop judging yourself for having fears, doubts, or insecurities, you create a safe internal environment for growth. You recognize that being human involves complexity, contradictions, and vulnerabilities, and that every emotion or thought has a purpose. This compassionate acceptance strengthens your emotional resilience, enabling you to navigate challenges with balance and presence. By embracing yourself fully, you reduce the inner conflict that once drained energy and foster a sense of inner peace and coherence. Additionally, embracing your inner demons enhances your capacity for authenticity. Once you accept these hidden aspects of yourself, you no longer feel the need to hide, pretend, or conform to external expectations. You can express your thoughts, emotions, and desires honestly and openly. This authenticity not only strengthens your relationship with yourself, but also deepens your connections with others. People respond to genuine presence, and embracing your inner demons allows you to show up fully, creating richer, more meaningful interactions. This stage naturally leads to illumination. By embracing your inner demons, you gain access to the insights and wisdom that they hold. Each fear, insecurity, or suppressed emotion contains lessons about your values, desires, boundaries, and potential. Acceptance transforms resistance into understanding, and understanding opens the door to clarity and guidance. The energy that was once used to avoid or suppress is now available to illuminate your path forward, helping you see patterns, make conscious choices, and align your actions with your authentic self. Ultimately, embracing your inner demons is an act of courage and empowerment. It requires honesty, presence, and the willingness to confront the parts of yourself that you have long feared. By accepting these aspects, you reclaim energy, cultivate self-compassion, and transform fear into strength. This stage is where darkness begins to reveal its wisdom, and where the hidden parts of yourself become allies rather than enemies. Embracing your inner demons prepares you for the next stage of transformation, where illumination, insight, and conscious action allow you to turn this acceptance into meaningful growth and authentic living. After recognizing, understanding, and embracing your inner demons, the next step is illumination, the stage where the darkness within you begins to reveal its wisdom and guidance. Illumination is about turning the acceptance you have cultivated into insight, clarity, and understanding that informs your actions and decisions. It is the moment when the fears, doubts, and suppressed emotions you once avoided or resisted begin to teach you about yourself, your needs, your boundaries, and your potential. Illumination is not about erasing challenges or pretending that fear and pain no longer exist. It is about seeing them clearly and using that understanding as a guide for conscious living. This stage begins with reflection. As you look inward, you examine the patterns of thought, behavior, and emotion that have influenced your life. You consider how your inner demons have shaped your reactions, decisions, and relationships. Reflection allows you to connect the dots between past experiences and present circumstances, revealing the ways in which unprocessed fears or limiting beliefs have guided your life. By reflecting with honesty and curiosity, you transform confusion into clarity and chaos into understanding. One of the most powerful aspects of illumination is the ability to see connections that were previously hidden. You start to recognize how your inner demons interact with each other, how past experiences influence your current choices, and how suppressed emotions manifest in your daily life. For example, you may notice that a fear of failure affects your willingness to take risks, which in turn influences your personal growth or career opportunities. Illumination allows you to see these patterns clearly, giving you the awareness needed to make conscious changes. Emotions play a central role in this process. The feelings you once avoided or suppressed are now sources of information. Fear may indicate areas where you need courage or preparedness. Anger may highlight unmet boundaries or values. Sadness may reveal unresolved grief or longing. By paying attention to these emotional signals, you gain insight into the parts of yourself that require attention, care, or transformation. Illumination transforms emotions from obstacles into guides that help you navigate your inner and outer world with greater wisdom. This stage also brings heightened self-knowledge. You begin to understand your strengths, vulnerabilities, desires, and limitations with greater clarity. Illumination allows you to distinguish between reactive behaviors driven by fear and conscious actions aligned with your true self. You start to see which beliefs and patterns serve your growth and which no longer serve you. This self-knowledge empowers you to make decisions that are in alignment with your authentic values and aspirations. Illumination is closely tied to creativity and problem-solving. The energy that was once trapped in avoidance or suppression becomes available for conscious expression. Insights gained from facing your inner demons spark new ideas, solutions, and ways of being. The clarity and understanding you develop enable you to approach challenges with innovation and resilience. Your inner demons, once seen as obstacles, now contribute to your personal growth and creative potential. This stage naturally builds on the previous steps. Recognition made you aware of the inner demons. Understanding revealed their origins and purpose. Embracing allowed you to accept them fully. Illumination takes these foundations and transforms them into practical wisdom. Without illumination, acceptance might remain passive, and your inner work could stagnate. With illumination, insight informs action, turning reflection and awareness into conscious living. Illumination also deepens your empathy and compassion, both toward yourself and others. By understanding your own fears, insecurities, and shadows, you can see similar struggles in others without judgment. This perspective fosters connection, patience, and understanding, allowing you to engage with the world from a place of authenticity and compassion rather than defensiveness or avoidance. Another key aspect of illumination is the recognition of duality. Darkness and light coexist within you and within life itself. Challenges, fears, and uncertainties are not separate from growth, courage, and resilience. They are intertwined. By illuminating your inner demons, you see that they are part of the larger balance of life, and you begin to navigate it with acceptance and equanimity. This perspective reduces fear and resistance, allowing you to respond to life with clarity, wisdom, and courage. Ultimately, illumination is about transforming awareness and acceptance into understanding and guidance. It is the stage where inner work begins to translate into conscious choices, where insights from the shadow inform how you move through the world. Illumination prepares you for transformative action, equipping you with the clarity, confidence, and wisdom needed to channel the lessons of your inner demons into empowered living. Through illumination, the darkness that once seemed threatening becomes a source of guidance, and the insights gained pave the way toward authentic self-expression, resilience, and freedom. By fully engaging with this stage, you begin to experience life with greater clarity and intentionality. You see patterns where once there was confusion, understand motives where there was reaction, and find guidance where there was fear. Illumination turns the energy of your inner demons into insight, turning shadow into a source of power. It is the bridge between acceptance and action, between understanding and transformation, and it sets the stage for the next step, taking conscious, transformative action in alignment with your authentic self. After recognition, understanding, embracing, and illumination, the next stage is transformative action, where insight and awareness are turned into practical steps that shape your life. This stage is about taking the wisdom gained from facing your inner demons and applying it to your choices, behaviors, and daily life. Transformation is not complete until it is lived and expressed. The lessons learned from your fears, doubts, and suppressed emotions must be translated into conscious action so that the inner growth you have achieved manifests externally. This stage is where your courage and insight meet purpose, and your inner work begins to create tangible change. Transformative action begins with conscious choice. After illuminating your inner demons, you are able to see the habitual patterns and reactive behaviors that have previously guided your life. You recognize where fear has limited you, where avoidance has held you back, and where self-doubt has dictated decisions. With this awareness, you can deliberately choose new responses that align with your authentic self. Each decision becomes a step toward empowerment and a reflection of your inner courage. Courage continues to play a central role in this stage. Transformation is not always easy, because it requires confronting situations that once triggered fear or discomfort. You may need to have difficult conversations, take risks, or pursue goals that challenge old limitations. The inner demons you faced and embraced are now guides that provide strength, insight, and resilience. By acting despite fear, you build confidence and reinforce your ability to navigate life's sea, consciously rather than reactively. Transformative action also involves setting boundaries and making choices that protect your well-being. By facing your inner demons, you have gained insight into what serves your growth and what does not. This awareness allows you to say no to situations, relationships, or habits that perpetuate fear, doubt, or limitation. At the same time, you can say yes to opportunities, experiences, and people that resonate with your authentic self. Action informed by insight creates a life that reflects your values, desires, and true potential. This stage is where empowerment becomes visible. The energy that was once consumed by avoidance, resistance, or suppression is now directed toward meaningful and constructive action. Fear, once paralyzing, becomes motivation. Doubt, once limiting, becomes a guide for careful and conscious choice. Suppressed creativity, unexpressed talents, and latent potential emerge as you act from a place of awareness. Transformative action turns inner work into outward manifestation, bridging the gap between understanding and living fully. Transformative action also strengthens resilience. By consciously engaging with challenges rather than avoiding them, you develop the ability to respond with awareness and flexibility. Setbacks are no longer devastating because you have cultivated the capacity to learn from experience and adjust your approach. Your inner demons, once sources of fear and limitation, become reminders of your strength and guides for navigating difficulty. Each action you take reinforces the lessons learned from your journey and builds confidence in your ability to face future challenges. Integration is another essential aspect of transformative action. The insights, acceptance, and awareness you have cultivated are no longer theoretical. They are lived experiences. Your choices, behaviors, and actions are aligned with your inner truth, creating harmony between your internal and external worlds. This alignment reduces inner conflict and enhances a sense of coherence, purpose, and fulfillment. Transformation becomes embodied, visible, and practical, impacting every area of your life. Transformative action flows naturally from illumination. Where illumination provides clarity, understanding, and insight, action applies that understanding in real-world contexts. Without action, insight remains internal and abstract. With action, it becomes tangible, shaping your life and creating lasting change. Each step you take reinforces your growth, strengthens your confidence, and brings you closer to the ultimate stage of liberation and authentic freedom. Ultimately, transformative action is about living consciously, authentically, and courageously. It is the stage where fear is no longer a master but a guide, where inner demons are transformed into sources of strength, and where insight becomes practical wisdom. By acting with awareness and intention, you reclaim your power, express your true self, and create a life that reflects the lessons and growth achieved through your journey. This stage is the bridge between inner transformation and living fully empowered, setting the stage for the final stage of liberation, wholeness, and freedom. Through transformative action, the courage you cultivated by facing your inner demons translates into meaningful change. Your journey moves from internal understanding to external expression, from potential to reality, and from fear to empowered living. It is the stage where your inner work begins to shape your life, relationships, and purpose, preparing you to fully embrace the freedom, authenticity, and wholeness that await in the next stage. The final stage in the journey of facing your inner demons is liberation and wholeness. After recognition, understanding, embracing, illumination, and transformative action, liberation is the culmination where all the lessons, insights, and growth you have achieved are integrated into your life. It is the moment when fear no longer controls you, when your inner demons are no longer enemies, and when you experience freedom, authenticity, and alignment with your true self. Liberation does not mean the absence of challenges or difficult emotions. It means living fully with awareness, resilience, and courage, able to navigate life from a place of strength and clarity. At this stage, fear no longer dictates your decisions. The recognition and understanding of your inner demons, combined with embracing and transformative action, have allowed you to reclaim the energy once trapped in avoidance, suppression, and self-doubt. You respond consciously rather than reactively. Challenges that once seemed overwhelming now become opportunities to exercise wisdom, courage, and creativity. Liberation I. The freedom to act from your authentic self, guided by insight rather than constrained by fear or old patterns. Liberation is also characterized by a profound sense of inner harmony. The internal conflicts, insecurities, and suppressed emotions that once drained your energy have been acknowledged, accepted, and integrated. You no longer experience dissonance between who you are internally and how you present yourself externally. This coherence between thought, emotion, and action creates a deep sense of peace and balance. By integrating the light and the darkness within yourself, you achieve a sense of wholeness, where every part of you has a place, a purpose, and a voice. Another essential aspect of liberation is authenticity. Having faced and understood your inner demons, you are free to express yourself fully, without fear of judgment or rejection. Your thoughts, emotions, desires, and talents are expressed in alignment with your true self. This authenticity transforms your relationships, work, and life experiences, allowing you to attract opportunities, connections, and situations that resonate with who you are, while naturally letting go of what does not serve your growth. A lie. Liberation, therefore, is both personal and relational, influencing your life and the world around you. Liberation also involves embracing responsibility. With freedom comes the understanding that your choices and actions matter, not only for yourself, but also for those around you. You no longer blame external circumstances, other people, or past experiences for limitations. Instead, you claim ownership of your life, exercising conscious choice and accountability in every area. This responsible approach to freedom deepens maturity and strengthens your ability to navigate life with integrity, compassion, and wisdom. Emotional resilience is another defining feature of liberation. You have developed the ability to experience fear, sadness, anger, or vulnerability without being overwhelmed. These emotions are no longer paralyzing, they serve as signals, teachers, and guides. By maintaining equanimity in the face of difficulty, you demonstrate mastery over your inner world and the capacity to engage with life consciously, making choices informed by insight rather than reaction. Liberation also involves recognizing the coexistence of darkness and light. You understand that fears challenge, and setbacks are an inherent part of life, just as growth, joy, and achievement are. The lessons of your inner demons are no longer avoided, but embraced as part of a balanced, integrated existence. This perspective allows you to navigate uncertainty and change with confidence, trust, and presence. Ultimately, liberation is the embodiment of wholeness. Every stage of the journey contributes to this state. Recognition awakens awareness, understanding provides clarity, embracing cultivates acceptance, illumination offers insight, and transformative action turns growth into lived experience. Liberation is the integration of all these stages, where inner demons become allies, fear transforms into courage, and shadow and light coexist in harmony. It is the stage where you live fully, authentically, and courageously, embodying the power, wisdom, and freedom gained through your journey. In liberation, you realize that the challenges, fears, and inner struggles you once faced were never obstacles to defeat, but teachers to understand. By confronting them and learning from them, you achieve freedom, not from life's difficulties, but from the control they once had over you. Liberation is the reward for courage, awareness, and perseverance. The ability to face your inner demons and emerge whole, empowered, and fully alive. It is the moment when you stand in your authenticity, guided by insight, strength, and the light that shines through every shadow within you.